Have you ever wondered how a Psalm of Lament works? These ancient prayers bring pain, grief, and doubt before God. And while their specifics vary, most Psalms of Lament tend to follow a very similar pattern. Laments begin with a jarring complaint. My God, why have you forsaken me? How long, O Lord, will you forget me forever? In asking these questions, the psalmist is not so much looking for answers. Rather, he is leveling an accusation against God. He feels forsaken and forgotten, beyond what anyone could possibly bear. From here, the lament pivots to a petition. Now, these petitions are punctuated by bold imperatives, things like answer, deliver, save, rise up, heal, rescue. What's more, the psalmist gives reasons why God should respond. Sometimes it's the direness of the situation, such as in Psalm 13:3, where the psalmist pleads, "Give light to my eyes, or I will sleep a sleep of death." Other times, the psalmist appeals to God's character or past promises, such as in Psalm 74, when he says, "Remember your congregation, O God, which you acquired long ago." Now, these complaints and petitions eventually give way to expressions of trust and praise. When reading these psalms, the shift can seem sudden. But if you look closely, you'll notice that the tense of the verbs shift from present to past. This gives us the impression that trust and praise is something of a retrospective in the Psalms of Lament. Days, maybe even weeks or years may have passed before the psalmist could have arrived at these words of trust and praise. So you might think of the four parts of the lament as a type of literary container that holds and organizes our experience of grief. The predictable structure shepherds us through these hard moments. Also, it reminds us that even when we are in the depths of despair and have no hope, we can remember that there were people of faith who came before us, who experienced the type of pain we feel, and yet somehow found a way to trust and praise again. While we can see this pattern across many Psalms of Lament, we also find variations. In some cases, the lament is uttered by individuals, and in other cases, it's by the whole community. Sometimes there's this back and forth of complaint and petition before the turn to trust appears. And in other cases still, the trust and praise are left out entirely. We need to follow the lead of the Psalter and create more room in our communities for words of lament. We need to remember that these words of grief and pain are not only allowable before God, but they are words of faith in their own right.